You know,
It's a Tuesday night. What are you gonna do?
when in Rome.
Classic party night. Tuesdays. Yeah.
Got the club going up on a Tuesday.
Do some Taco Tuesday and have a couple drinks. Well, yeah, as some of you older listeners can put a face now to our first ever international guest host from Europe, Mr. Philip. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's been a while.
Glad to be back.
Yeah, you last time you were on, you were living in the Czech Republic. You have moved, right?
I have moved. I moved like a 3-hour plane ride. I think it was like a 20-hour car ride, but to Lisbon, further east. I'm closer to the time zone of the U.S., so that actually helps me with my family, as I am from North Carolina. So
nice.
Yeah,
I thought it was funny because you moved. I was on the East Coast, and I pretty much moved to the West Coast the same time you moved.
Yeah, so
Also
our time
Western
difference
Europe.
probably didn't change that much between us.
So we pretty much stayed the same. Yeah.
Yeah. How much time difference is there between the Czech Republic and Portugal? Is it 3 hours?
1 hour. Yeah.
1 hour.
It's pretty easy. Actually, as far as Europe goes, it's compared to the U.S., it's quite condensed. Like
how many time zones is there in Europe?
I think it's 1, 2 goes all the way past Poland. If you go into Russia, you might hit the third one, but it's not very many.
I was actually just watching a video of Russia this week, and they were saying there's 11 time zones throughout Russia.
Oh, yeah, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
Russia goes far into Asia, so
it's basically 2 separate countries.
It goes to Alaska.
Yeah,
that's true.
Alaska used to be Russian for a long time. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Shout out to Ukraine real quick for lasting a fucking year. Like,
Go Ukraine. Slava Ukraine.
That's crazy. It's been a whole year. I was walking
pro Russia guys.
Let's talk it out. Let's talk it out. You both have valid points.
Hey, I agree. Hey, we're all about discussion here, right? No, but, I was walking through. I was in Poland this weekend, and they were doing a parade for like the 1-year anniversary of the start of the war, which I mean, to me, I was like, oh shit, it's been a whole year. That's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
That's wild.
And I'm living in Europe, and I still don't feel it's been a year, but yeah, for sure.
I think about you all the time when I think about the war, just like how that would affect you, because like you're probably my best friend in Europe, I would say. Like,
I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, how many friends do you have in Europe? Best friend in Europe, dude. Or maybe fourth.
Nice job moving west of the conflict, though. Good job.
Oh yeah, I did get further away. My mom, I remember her calling me like, worried about the whole thing, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm just gonna move a little, not because of the war, but just because I'd been 6 years in the Czech Republic, and she's like, okay, that's good. I was like, well, I mean, best case, I'm farther away. So,
and Lisbon is it like near? It's for sure more like warm, right? More Mediterranean than.
So I moved from the Czech Republic looking for 2 things: a warmer climate and maybe a slightly warmer culture. And I definitely hit both. Like, people here, super friendly, generally nice.
Have you been to Spain? Is it similar to Spain? I kind of imagine.
It's pretty similar to Spain. I think it's slightly different, but it's hard to describe the difference. But there is a difference, but I don't know. It's hard to describe exactly what the difference is.
Yeah.
One's called Portugal and one's called Spain.
Yeah.
One speaks Portuguese, one speaks Spanish.
That was going to be my next point. That's about all I got there. Yeah.
That helps.
Besides that, I don't know. Yeah. I guess Spain is the only country that Portugal shares a border with, too, which is kind of interesting.
Correct.
For them. Yeah.
What is there? There's like a term for countries that surround other countries. I know Portugal is not one of them, but
yeah, the Vatican City is like the most known example of that.
Yeah, there's some ones in Africa too.
It has no shoreline. It has no coastline, and it's also completely
Czech
landlocked.
Republic would be one.
Really?
I mean, yeah. Czech Republic has multiple
Germany,
countries
Poland,
around the borders.
An
We're talking about
exclave?
one country. We're talking about one country surrounds the entire thing.
Okay, so Italy
Vatican
surrounding
City.
Vatican.
Right. Yeah.
An enclave is what it's called.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and it's mostly like republics. There's a Republic of San Marino in Italy, Vatican City, and the Kingdom of Lesotho in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Would like
Dude, South Africa might be going into a civil war shortly. I just read today. Yeah, dude. Apparently, yeah. Apparently, it's like an energy crisis going on. There's been like blackouts for a long time, and they were actually the government sent out an advisory to the people today to that they advise people to stock up on like several days worth of supplies and food because they might a war might break out or like some blackouts might get really bad.
I have a couple South African friends I can reach out to, and then we can discuss this on the next podcast.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I read this today, so this is like, it's going on.
Just go ahead and be your international, guru, your person on the ground in Europe.
We cover America, you cover everything else.
Yeah, well, let's start with Europe. We'll figure it out.
Well, we'll talk about it with them until the power cuts out, but yeah.
Yeah, of course. No, I mean, I have friends in, I have some friends in, well, not in South Africa from here, but some friends from the Czech Republic that are from South Africa originally that live in Czech Republic, so.
That's cool.
They'll at least be able to tell me when they cease contact with their family that the power went out. To put it lightly.
Dude, we could start a news podcast. Maybe that's what we do.
Hey.
We got Philip providing
current events and shit.
Yeah. Why trust the mainstream media when you can trust us?
When you can trust Wilderness Radio.
Yes.
I googled some shit. Yeah.
I googled some shit.
Well, this has to be brought up because the other time, were you on the podcast once or twice? At least.
I think twice.
Was it twice? I think it was twice.
I think it was twice, yeah.
I thought it was. I wasn't sure if it was just once. But, of course, the main thing that was brought up when you were on, Philip, for those of you who don't know, Philip bought in early in the hype train on
Bored Ape
Yacht
Club,
Apes.
right?
Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Bored Ape Yacht Club.
Yeah, he bought one of those before it like blew up. It's one of the NFT trends. And I remember when we were talking to
successful one by far. Granted, I lost money on many other things, but actually this one I'm still up probably 200% on.
Yeah, so that's what we need to know is like at the time of the last podcast, you could have sold that thing for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right?
There was a point where I remember on the last podcast I said I'm going to sell at 150 F.
And you did not.
Which was a dumb amount at that point in time. And it hit 150 and I was like, I'm going to wait for 200. I think it hit 175 and then now it's at like 80 or 75.
That's still good on what you paid for it.
Yeah, I bought it for 15. It's still up. It's at 75. It's floating. I've decided I'm gonna treat it like I did Ethereum and just keep it.
Fuck it, hodl, bro.
I still own this dumb fucking ape. That's worth.
Do you have Do you have a picture of it? Now that it's a video podcast, we could actually, if you're okay, showing the world your property that you own.
Can I share my screen if I find it?
Yeah,
I think so.
Share on the bottom.
You should be able to share on the bottom.
Let me try to find it.
Yeah, go ahead. We'll chat while you do.
So wait, how many ether is this worth? 75, you said?
I think it's like
right now.
I can look that up as well.
I was looking at, so anybody who kind of knows about NFTs knows they kind of were ridiculously hyped and like making tons of money, exponentially growing, and like throughout COVID 2020, 2021, and they've kind of like taken a huge dip off in the last year or so, like lack of interest and just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably there's a lot of scams in the crypto industry. Like there's a lot of problems in the crypto space that are preventing them from making another like period of growth. But let's see. The peak of NFTs, Google searches on NFTs was January 16th, 2022, so about a year ago. And now, as of March, within 2 months, it had gone down to 30% of that, like Google searches, NFTs, and it's never hit above that since. So people definitely lost interest.
Been a rough year for the markets everywhere.
It is accurate.
But, like, the interesting thing is, like, yeah, crypto's down and NFTs are down, but then when you look at them still in, like, a long-term investment, like, people that invest...
still very high up.
Yeah, dude, people that invested
in Bitcoin who invested in the
6 years ago are still insanely...
I mean,
their return is insane.
What was the height?
I bought Ethereum back in, like, 2016. I'm well up on anything I put in. And I've
that is the only
from there, but I'm from 2016. I'm well up.
Ethereum is the only crypto I still have.
6 more years. You know, I'm just waiting. I don't know. For me, what I put in, I've already taken out my original investment, so it's kind of like casino money, and I'm just kind of like, if I no longer have to work with this someday, cool. If not, I guess I just have to continue doing what I do.
Do you stake it or whatever? Do you find ways to help it?
With Ethereum, which is the main thing that I bought, I have a machine 2 rooms over that is connected to the internet and pays me monthly.
Fuck yeah.
Staking for anyone who doesn't know what he's talking about.
Does it pay you in Ethereum or like euros or dollars?
So it pays me in Ethereum. I can, right now you can't take out like your original investment yet. That's like the next, I think one of the next updates in the Ethereum network is supposed to allow this, but the current one.
The only crypto I still have actually is that Ethereum that's locked up right now, yeah.
Like by far still the safest bet, along with Bitcoin. But for me, I think Ethereum is future-proof because it has so many use cases.
Ethereum did a really pretty big thing that was like it was big news, but it wasn't really as publicized as I would have thought. They moved from a proof of work model to proof of stake,
which is why I have the staking machine, because like I wouldn't do proof of work.
Yeah, because that means you have to have a bunch of computers running algorithms to solve math problems.
Crazy amounts of energy.
It takes a ton of energy, which is the main concern. Yeah.
Proof of work, which is what Bitcoin works off of, completely changed, or like Ethereum completely switched to proof of stake, which I think the Ethereum network. You could look it up, you could Google it now, but I think it cut down the energy usage by like 99 point.
Oh, it was huge, yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
Like a country's worth of energy usage.
Right.
They calculated that immediately once they switched to that, they calculated it was like 0.2% of the entire global energy usage went down. It went down 0.2%, which doesn't sound like, kind of might sound like that, but globally that's a shitload for
insane.
One thing to affect it that much. Yeah,
it is wild for sure.
So how much Ethereum do you get a week off of your staking? I'd be curious about like what
we haven't. Somebody
yeah.
might
How
not
does
know what
staking work?
is.
What is staking? Yeah, I don't know what staking is. I am that person.
I'm hesitant to say how much I get because it could say like how much I have, which is like
Yeah.
in the crypto community, you're supposed to stay pretty low key about. Like,
Okay, that's fair.
That being said,
That's fair. That's fair.
I will say in order to stake on like a by yourself, which I do, you have to have 32 Ethereum minimum for one staking like per, let's say, staking section. So like you could have in realms of if you have 32, if you have 64, et cetera, it goes
Okay.
from there.
Right.
Per validator, which a validator is 32. I don't know. I get you get a monthly like fee for like every time you check in with the network, which is daily. You get a fee, which is pretty small. But the real money comes in when you validate a transaction because whatever fees the transaction gets paid, which right now isn't very much because crypto is not super popular. But like when NFTs were going crazy, transaction fees were way higher, and you get the majority of the transaction fee. So like I think the other week I got a transaction fee that was like point 0.1 Ethereum, which I think at this point is like
Wow.
$200.
Yeah, it's pretty
And
good.
that was just like I can like take a photo of the machine. It's like the machine is like this big,
Huh. Yeah, I'd be curious.
and
That would
it's
be
just
something I'd be
connected to
kind of
the internet.
interested to get into at some point, maybe.
I know
It's
proof
really
of stake. It
fascinating.
kind of like the network kind of randomly picks which
It does. It's all
which
random.
user or whatever is going to get to like
It's
verify
super
that
random. And
transaction.
like there's like a calculator on like one of my apps that's just like, what is
Yeah.
your validation luck? And it's like it calls it luck because it is super random, and it's like, did you get chosen to do a transaction in the last like 6 months?
Yeah, and proof of work, which is a reason before that, was so energy intensive because like the way it
Yeah.
worked was like people had tons of computers and they were all running them, trying to outcompete each other to solve like the math problem to like verify the transaction, basically.
Right.
But now switching to proof of stake, like anybody who has, like he said, that certain amount of ETH can like enter the staking pool, and then you're kind of just like in line with a bunch of other people, and they just randomly select people that are in the stake pool to like verify transactions, and then you get, rewards based off of for every transaction that's verified, like he was saying.
I'm still confused as fuck, but all right.
Fun stuff, yeah.
I think I'm about to find the.
Yeah,
My-
this whole time, what have you found your board ape?
No, I've been. The issue is that I have to like. So like all of my stuff is located.
You can also,
on this device.
so
I
you
have
can
to,
also
like,
send it to
access
me
it.
afterwards, and I could add it in.
Yeah. Okay. This can work.
We just won't be able to react to it.
But I
We can
will,
just fake a reaction. Let's just fake a reaction.
I'm gonna try to get it up in the next 10 minutes. Just give me a
Okay.
sec. I have to
Yeah, no
open my
worries.
device and like get it all situated.
Cool. Yeah. Good old crypto.
Yeah, it's,
Good old
it's not
crypto.
quite user friendly just yet.
Yeah, Ethereum is the only. I have like the Ethereum 2 locked up. That's the only crypto. I sold out of all the rest of mine kind of right before it got to the bottom, but I definitely, I was like, all right, I've made money, let's get out.
Which
Seems like it's going down,
I think
yeah.
For most people, I try to like.
It's so
Like, when I
volatile.
get my friends to do it, like get invested or whatever, I'm always like, don't look at me as like the like, oh, what can I? Because I'm an anomaly. I got in I got early because a friend told me to do it, and I
There's
did
a
it.
luck factor for sure.
It was like luck factor
Yeah.
for sure.
hmm
Most people, I'm like, hey, get in, make some money, get out. Like, call it good.
Okay, let me ask you, Phil.
Get in. If it doubles, take half out, and then keep whatever's there, and just like walk away for like 10 years and see what happens.
Let me ask you this. Is there an amount of like US dollars that you could reach in crypto money that you'd be like, okay, fuck this, I'm selling out, I can make a living? Because like off of $2 million, pretty much anyone can very easily live off of dividend investments in S&P 500 funds. Like, anybody could do that right now.
I think there's a point that I'll reach where I'm willing to divest a lot, like a significant portion, but I don't think I'll ever go zero. And I say this because now,
dude, if it reaches that point, could keep going, you know.
Like right now, like I make probably on bad day or on bad like months, like 4% on what's there. So if it ever reaches a dumb amount, then I'm making 4% on this dumb amount, and it's not tied to like general.
That basically is a dividend
by itself.
Like,
if I can make 4%, I can live off of that and not have to work, not have to do anything, and I can literally just do whatever, like art or whatever the fuck I want to do.
Yeah.
So why would I
watch paint dry?
That being said,
I mean, because it's volatile as fuck.
I think it's smart at some point to diversify, and I have and will do that. But I don't think there's ever a point where I'll cash out everything.
Diversify your portfolio. It's fucking.
Which, I mean, you know, it's a buzzword, but it's still.
It's said so much because it's true.
It's good advice. Yeah.
Like, it's accurate, you know.
I remember, so Andrew Carnegie has the famous phrase of, he disagrees with that, and he says, put all your eggs in one basket and then guard that basket jealously or some shit. Which I was reading a biography of him once, and the author was like, which he said, but he did not do at all. He, like, diversified all his shit and, like, bought out competitors and things like that.
And then gives advice to his competitors so they fuck up, and he can take advantage of it. Brilliant.
But the reason I've held Ethereum so long is actually, like, I think my uncle once told me this phrase. It was like, oh, Warren Buffett said, if you're not willing to hold an asset for 5 years, don't buy it. And this was after I bought Ethereum. And it had done a whole bunch of this, you know, and I was like, okay. 5
makes
years
sense
later,
because, like, you shouldn't invest with money you can afford to lose.
Up 1,000%. I'm like, maybe Warren Buffett has a point.
He has done pretty well for himself.
Like, I don't think anything you're going to buy, like, if you hold it for 5 years, I don't think anything's guaranteed to do it. But in my case, it at least worked.
Yeah, I'd say Warren Buffett's a pretty good person to model your investing strategy off of.
Granted, I don't
know what the fuck he's doing.
That being said.
Have you ever looked at the price of his firm's stock?
Dude, I looked at buying it once. Berkshire Hathaway, it's like $300,000, $500,000 for one share or some shit like that. It's ridiculous.
Since 1983, it's up 53,000%. It costs $463,525 a share.
Oh my god! It's
a house.
In the range.
That's a fucking house, dude.
For one share of this company. That's fucking insane.
That's the Class A share. Yep.
I think that's the most expensive stock.
1,000%. That's insane.
Can you see if there's anything more? I think that's the most expensive thing you can buy on the stock market. I don't know of anything that's more valuable than that. Because I think I saw that and I was like, holy shit.
So Berkshire Hathaway.
Yeah. And then.
And it's by like a lot. Lindt and Sprungli AG, which sounds like a car company, is the next one. Or Lindt. Oh, that's the chocolate company? Lindt? Lindt?
Dude, that's probably one of those companies that like secretly owns everything, but you don't even know. Like, what's it, Blackwater or whatever? Is that what it is? Or Blackstone?
Yeah, Blackstone. Yeah.
Fucking own. They're the secret owners behind like all the big things.
Dude, fucking crazy to be up that amount. That's insane.
Meanwhile,
Philip's still looking up the.
Meanwhile,
still up.
It's telling me I have to. It's telling me I have to close this to share my screen. So I'm gonna send you a link instead.
Yeah. Just send me take a screenshot and send it to.
I found it. I'm assuming there's a chat here. Yeah, here we go.
Oh, that's a good point. I could open it.
Sweet.
For sure, yeah.
Found it. It's there.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna.
And you can see I think you can see the best offer on it right now.
This is Philip's. This is Philip's NFT. Oh, Scout already got me. Beat me to it.
Oh, can only one person look at it at a time?
Did you share your screen, Scout?
Oh no, I'm not sharing my screen yet.
Oh, okay. I got it.
No, but like you can see, like this website shows you the price in USD, like what the best offer is currently.
This is Philip's NFT. His
Yeah.
Bored Ape
Whoa.
Yacht Club. Currently, best offer 70 ETH, which is a ton of $113,000, which is still a ton of money. You can see a graph of down here of how it's.
And
Is
that's
that
like
what it was?
when it's down.
But it's for those listening just via audio. It's basically if you look up Bored Ape Yacht Club when you get a chance. They all look fairly similar, like
Yeah,
the
it's
design.
all the same.
Yeah, but Phillips has 3D movie glasses on. It has like a hoop earring, little silver one, like an orange beanie, and then a wife beater on with like some mustard stains or sweat stains on it. So
He had a mad hot dog.
it's
before
number 1872 of the Bored Ape Yacht Club. You could look that up probably. I bet.
Oh,
At
whoa.
one point, this thing was worth like, I think it was worth like 170 Ethereum.
But see,
That's awesome.
Ethereum has also fluctuated a ton too.
Yeah, of course. So this is, it's hard to evaluate it because like I evaluated in Ethereum, so like in my head it's gone down half. But like at the same time, at Ethereum's peak, if it was worth 70, it would have been double this easy. So that's where like crypto and trading and using like traditional money values gets really difficult because you end up trading things based on, like I trade things based on Ethereum price, but then that also fluctuates as far as like what like normal prices are, like dollar, euro, or
Right.
whatever.
We should probably point out too. This isn't like Philip doesn't do this for a living. Like this is something he does also, right?
Side thing, you know.
Yeah.
Granted, a
So-
successful side thing so far.
And this
but,
is not financial advice. Let's
yeah, don't-
put that disclaimer in there. Yeah, do not.
Don't do this.
We're idiots.
Nah, I'm gonna say do it. I
Actually, you
think
know
people
what?
should do it.
If
Do
there's
it.
a
I would love.
if there's a listener that wants to buy this from me for like 150,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
actually-
say, I'm gonna
Go
pause
for it.
you saying "do it" and then have whenever you get sued, I'm gonna have the news headline paused and like kind of like zoom out on the low level podcaster sued for financial advice.
Do it. Do it. Do it.
Walker, I know you like sports. Have you seen the Pat McAfee getting sued by Brett Favre thing?
Oh.
Heard, yeah. Well, so okay, yeah. Quickly to get into that, Brett.
This is a total
Brett-
180. Sorry.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
We'll have to do a
Whatever.
sports
We've talked about
intro.
NFTs long enough. So Brett Favre, famous for being the Green Bay Packers quarterback for a long time. For those like of you who know of the NFL, you will know who Brett Favre is. But he's basically got he's got a lawsuit in Mississippi, which is where he's from. That's where he like grew up, went to college, where he's being charged with like stealing money from like the welfare program to like fund basically sports facilities, which went into like building like a volleyball facility at like southern Mississippi, which is like where his daughters were playing volleyball. So it's like the lawsuit basically alleges like he used his like celebrity and fame to like influence people that were in power to take money from like a welfare program to use to build a sports facility for his girls' college.
Oof.
And so a lot of media, sports media, of course, juicy story, famous quarterback, in a scandal are going to
Like
fucking
a rich
report on it.
ass quarterback steals money from the needy.
Yeah,
Like
Right.
the
it's a juicy
opposite-
story.
Like Brett Favre, aka the opposite of shoot, I forgot the name. I had a point. What's the shooting arrow guy that is in the Robin Hood? Opposite of Robin Hood.
Yeah,
Anti-
exactly.
Brett
Hood
Favre,
Robert.
anti Robin Hood. allegedly, let's say on the podcast. So that
Allegedly. Yeah,
Allegedly.
Brett Favre might sue us. But anyways, Philip was bringing up there's this podcast, this famous sports podcast called The Pat McAfee Show. And they, I guess they were ragging on him for this and, like, reporting on it quite a bit to the point where Brett Favre has, like, filed a lawsuit against them as well as a couple of other sports media people for defamation against him, which... my understanding of defamation, exactly. From my understanding of defamation suits, you have to have extremely overwhelming evidence that, like, they're
like slandering your reputation. Yeah.
Like,
not
there's been
just
cases
telling the
where,
truth
like,
about you.
Yeah, there's cases where, like,
that they were referring to as well. McAfee specifically says allegedly like twice or 3 times in the show. So it's like
covered.
I'm pretty sure if you say allegedly,
You're good.
Hey,
I believe even
Cut to Philip like robbing somebody and saying allegedly. Give me your wallet allegedly.
I believe even if he didn't say allegedly, it would still be a large uphill battle for them to win that case in court, even if he hadn't said that, because like there's like a lot of legal avenues defensively where you could say like, well, I didn't at the time actually believe like.
Yeah,
I mean that he was this or whatever. I said that, but like I'm playing a character. Like that case has been used.
It's a bit.
Fox News, but literally in court before, has used as a defense. Like we're not actually a news agency; we're an entertainment agency.
I think one of the
like
only
defend
cases
lives that
recently,
they said. Like
I think one of the only
Alex
cases
Jones is another one.
Was Alex Jones, like
Mm-hmm.
he got screwed. I mean, well, rightfully so. But
I think so. Yeah.
You know, in my opinion, rightfully so. But like,
allegedly.
Yeah. But this is one of the cases I think where it went the right way, but I don't think very often. I think it's so hard to prove otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
This is my dog, by the way. This is Oliver.
Yeah, I've been seeing him in the background.
Oh, hey, Ollie.
Did he come from Czech Republic with you, or is he a Portugal
I
dog?
got him in Texas when I was in college.
Oh, wow. So he came all the way from the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
And then we did a road trip to Lisbon from there.
How was having a dog in Europe? Is it much different or pretty much the same?
It's similar to. It depends on where you're at. Like, you know, there are some places in the U.S. that would suck to have a dog. There are some places in Europe that would suck to have a dog.
How's Lisbon?
Less
dog friendly, not dog friendly.
Less great than the Czech Republic, but the Czech Republic was like notoriously dog friendly. Like they had so many parks, dog parks. You could take your dogs into restaurants. They were fine with it. Here, you can't take your dogs into restaurants.
Yeah.
But he's at like, I think he's like 10 now. What are you, 9, 10? 10? Yeah, okay, he's 10. But he's getting older, so he's fine just chilling here. There are some good parks here, though. I would say like dog life in Europe is like any city in the U.S., I think.
Dude, this just made me think of a great idea.
It is.
We should do a segment sometime where we just fucking talk about our pets, past, present, past and present.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like past and present, like share pictures of them and just fucking share good stories of the times we had with our pets, you know?
Oh,
That'd
yeah.
be fun.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
I gotta be careful. Like half my passwords are old pets. Half my
don't fucking say that, dude.
are like, what was your first pet?
Why are you saying this?
Yeah.
We just transitioned from showing a fucking NFT you own that's worth over $100,000, and now you're telling us about your passwords.
Good luck finding that password out, though. It's not Oliver.
Bold move, Cotton. We'll see if it pays off.
No, it's okay. The next episode we'll do about security and how Philip got screwed over by saying his password.
I was just about to say, next I want to talk about password hashes.
All right, this is a fun segment. All right, guys, what's your favorite password that you use, and for which of your accounts do you use it? If it's multiple, please let us know.
Well, for crypto specifically, I only use the password Big Booty Bitches 69 #3 as my password.
Uh-oh. You're going to get doxxed.
It's coming. It's
Fucking
coming.
done, dude.
He's like thinking he's all clever because it's not a 3 at the end. It's a 4.
Calm down, chill.
Don't play the secret.
All right, well, let's see. I'm going to transition us into a new segment
Sweet.
that I just
Take
made
us
a
there.
fucking new title sequence for today.
Hey, yo.
It's on YouTube. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but here we go. In the wilderness, people are faced with two options: facing death or surviving to tell the tale. These are their stories.
I love it.
I do want to
Shout
point
out
out.
if you
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
shout out if you can get the reference that was from. Should be pretty obvious.
I got it. It's glorious too.
Yeah.
Walker, you've really blown the podcast up as far as like quality of like the random intros and like
Oh,
you know,
dude.
this.
I
Our
think it adds a
production
little
quality is
flavor
going
to it.
off.
And man, you guys are
It adds a
taking
little
strides.
flavor. Yeah, I like it. I would like to do more of it. I think we could definitely up the production value, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Hey,
We're taking baby steps. I will say, getting
Actually-
a consistent
Hey, like,
schedule down has been a
right.
huge piece.
since
Yeah, this
episode
is an
one-
interesting way to start the Wilderness Tales segment, but I don't give a fuck. I was actually what was I about to say? Totally lost it. Anyways, I'll get into my
production
Wilderness
quality?
story here.
Good production quality.
Wilderness Tales.
Yeah.
You're either surviving.
I don't know. I can't remember. I lost it. But anyways,
Okay.
Wilderness Tales, as said from the intro, these are their stories. So today we're going to be sharing Lost in Yellowstone: The Misadventures of Truman Everts. Have you guys ever heard of this guy?
I think so, actually.
Yeah. What do you think you know about him? Don't look anything up.
Is
If you know anything.
Did he like wander around writing a bunch in a bunch of different wilderness places and at one point just went missing in like Utah or in the desert somewhere?
Well, he went missing in Yellowstone.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm thinking of a different guy then.
But here we go. And I'll try to maybe include some pictures here. For Truman Everts, it was the chance of a lifetime. Join an expedition into the heart of Yellowstone Park, an expedition into unknown country where few people had gone before. Everts, a 54-year-old former assessor for the territory of Montana, decided to join a party of 19 men and 40 horses. The Washburn-Langford Doane expedition of 1870 set out into the wilds of Yellowstone, chronicling the region's wonders as they went. For much of the trip, they circumnavigated the Yellowstone Lake, and in early September, on the south end of the lake, Everts nearly met his demise. While the party was whacking its way through thick timber between Heart Lake and Yellowstone Lake, Everts became separated from the main force. Apparently, this separation didn't cause too much alarm, for in the thick of going into a lodgepole pine forest, the travel can be tough, especially for a party the size of this one. When Everts became separated with his horse, he didn't get alarmed, even when he had to spend the first night alone out. In an account of the harrowing adventure that he would survive, he wrote of that night, I rode on in the direction I supposed had been taken until darkness overtook me in the dense forest. This was disagreeable enough, but caused me no harm. I had no doubt of being with the party at breakfast the next morning. The next day, he rose early and set off in the direction he had been traveling, certain to meet his comrades. But somewhere in that thick timber, he lost his way again and made a serious mistake. He dismounted his horse and left it with the reins trailing while he walked ahead to scout a route over a particularly tough section. Something spooked his horse and it took off, quote, at full speed among the trees, and that was the last I ever saw of him, unquote.
Oof.
Yeah, not good. On the horse were Everett's supplies, blankets, guns, everything. He had only the clothes on his back. Yeah, he had only the clothes on his back and a couple of knives and a small glass jar. Thus began the terrible odyssey in which Everett's would be beset by a series of calamities guided by visions and hammered by autumn weather in the mountains. September in Yellowstone country can be a beautiful time of year, but for Everett's it was nearly fatal. Snow, wind, and rain lashed him. Instead of going back toward Yellowstone Lake and a possible rendezvous with his party, he initially set off south and ended up on the shores of Heart Lake, where he lay down beside some thermal springs and thus kept from dying of hypothermia. He ate a few things such as a small bird that made the mistake of seeking shelter from a mean storm under the same tree as Everett's. Although probably not the best woodsman, he ingeniously started fires using his glass jar and was able to fashion a knife from a buckle and a fishhook and a fishhook from a pin. He lost these in a forest fire that he apparently accidentally set, burning off a lot of his hair before he awoke.
Oh my god.
Accidentally started a forest fire.
Is there a book about this?
I don't know. This is just a story about Yellowstone, like I found online.
I would read this.
Sounds interesting. If he has like just journal entries about it. Let's see. Ironically, the party waited for some time for Everett's and set off in different directions searching for him. At one point, Langford and another man rode almost to the shore of Heart Lake, where Everett's was lying on some warm ground next to a hot spring, but they turned back and did not find Everett's. When Langford's horse plunged through the crusted surface of a thermal area, they turned around. For 37 All right, we're almost done. For 37 days, Everett's main staple was the root of thistle, commonly known today as Everett's thistle or elk thistle. So he got a plant named after him in the park. This sustained him as he walked, crawled, and struggled his way around Yellowstone Lake and down the Yellowstone River. At last, he was found in mid-October by two men who were looking for him and who at first thought he was a wounded bear crawling along the rocks near Crescent Hill, at the north end of what today is the park. Everett's gained much publicity for his harrowing tale and was even honored by being offered a job, first superintendent of the new park in 1872. He turned the job down, noting that he wanted it very much but could not take it because there was no salary. Everett's later moved away from Montana and fathered a child when he was in his 70s. Wow.
Damn.
He'd married a girl of 14. It was 1870, people remember this. He had married a girl of 14 when he was in his mid-60s. What a creep.
Oh, God.
That's weird. He lived until 1901, dying in Maryland at the age of 85, apparently none the worse for wear from his ordeal in the first ever national park. So that was the story of Truman Everett's.
Does the timing make it better that he married the 14?
I wouldn't. No. Definitely not better. Still fucked up. But
I mean,
I'm of the belief
because of the times, but
if it was more, that's because if it's more culturally acceptable, what if it's culturally acceptable for everybody to do it? Then if you do it, is it wrong? Or is it just doing what the culture says?
I mean,
I think that's a big mistake a lot of people make nowadays is they judge historical figures based off of today's moral standards, which is absurd because the moral standards of society were completely different back then.
They change, yeah.
Yes, maybe you don't agree with them now, but that's what it was, and maybe they were just fucking this is what society accepts, and that's just how everyone thought. You know,
It
people
changes
don't.
culturally as well. I remember
Yes.
one of the first clubs I went to in Europe. You know,
I
being in
fucked
the
a midget.
States. No, no. Being in the
That was the
States,
second club.
you're used to going to a club or like a place like this, and like everyone there is 21 or at worst 18 and has an X on their hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here, or in the Czech Republic, I went to like some club and start talking to some, like with some friends, and there are these girls that approach and we're like, well, how old are you? You look quite young. And they're like, oh, we're 16. And I was like,
Yeah,
What?
it's definitely.
we're like
I
in a
think-
bar and they're like 16. I was like, no.
I
Very
think
weird.
Europe is like notoriously,
But the age of
you know,
consent
they
here
consider
is
age of consent a lot younger
The age
over
of
there than they
consent
do here. Yeah.
16, 15, sometimes
Yeah.
14, depending on where you are at.
That's wild.
Yeah, Europe's a lot like younger.
Which is crazy.
Man, I just
Like even like right now, like if an 18-year-old walked up to me, I'd be like, yeah, we have nothing in common. I'm sorry. Please don't talk.
Yeah.
oh dude, okay, that actually a news story came out literally this week. I read this and I was like fucking appalled that this was a thing, but apparently Japan's age of consent up until this past week, guess what it was?
13.
Oh god, I don't want to guess.
Yeah,
I don't wanna
13,
Oh,
dude.
God, dude.
They just
is
raised it
wild.
to they raised it to 16, I believe now. From 13, dude. That's not fucking
Holy
insane.
shit.
But can you
Yeah,
imagine
dude.
talking
Wild.
to a 16-year-old right now?
There's a big argument in Utah, I think, right now among Mormons about like making laws
Yeah.
in Utah about the
I can
like
see that.
age of marriage, because there's a lot of like, you know, religious conservatives that are like fighting against them raising the age of consent in Utah right now, which is
Go
fucking
Utah.
insane. Like,
Go Utah.
I don't understand how you can defend that
That's
position and
Utah.
seem like a cool person. Like, what the fuck?
It's
Like, how do you,
absurd.
like, yeah. It's like, how do you go home to your family and be like, hey, so I met a girl. Then you have to like, oh, she's
Like, how does that actually happen in a non-creepy way? Like, I don't see it.
not the way I
Oh well, her daddy brought his truck into my shop to change the oil, and it's fucking what, dude? Fucking people. Scout, did you also have a wilderness tale that you wanted to share? Did you still kind of
not
in
really.
in that vein?
Tale, just like a little news article that I found and thought was neat.
Yeah,
it's
sure,
about
go ahead.
some. I posted it in the chat, but it's about this like set of 10,000-year-old footprints of a toddler and a woman who maybe was the mother, but it's like this about a mile-long set of footprints that shows like an out and back journey, and at one point like the mother set the child down for some
Feel free
reason.
to share your screen if you want. Might be
yeah.
I saw you posted something. That's crazy, dude. Where is this? Did this happen?
This was
Did
in
they find this?
White Sands National Park, New Mexico.
Oh wow, very close to Scout and I. You
Yeah.
know, global.
Yeah, that's kind of
speaking,
why I
that's
thought
pretty
it was
close.
cool.
Yeah.
But so the tracks show like an out and back journey taken at a fast clip by a single adult, and then the other cool thing was that like a little later on, like still probably during the same day because they set in the same mud, a giant sloth and a woolly mammoth like crossed paths with these people.
So this is just on the ground, and where is it? Is it in a park or just in the
White
wilderness?
Sands, White Sands National Park, New Mexico.
How the fuck? So
But this
I
never
just
found
find that
before.
hard to believe that. I find it hard to
Like
believe
uncut?
that footprints could sit on the ground for 10,000 years and not have some sand cover them up and shit.
That's yeah.
I mean, I might just be misinformed on the
I
regional.
mean, maybe the
you know,
sand like
shit.
solidified and then they brushed the rest off. Like
That's
a,
true,
like a
yeah.
fossil.
Yeah, it might have been like an archaeological dig discovery versus just like stumbling upon it.
That's still kind
That's
of
what it looks like. Yeah. So here.
Okay,
Yeah,
so they
okay.
dug and found this.
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
So yeah, like those are the footprints, I guess.
And I guess according to like probably the layers of the soil, they can estimate
The age.
like when
that it was
yeah.
about 10,000 years ago.
Let's see.
That's
here.
wild. What do
Here.
I don't even. Was there any type of recorded history going on 10,000 years ago? That you like?
There's cave paintings, but that's about it.
Like
Yeah,
hieroglyphs,
we were still a pretty
No
primitive
hieroglyphs
species.
yet. Just
No, not even.
religious
Yeah.
paintings.
That's crazy.
When did hieroglyphs appear? When did
Yeah.
hieroglyphs appear?
I actually went to
3100 BC. So about 5,000 years ago.
Yeah, okay. Wow. So 5,000 years pre-hieroglyph. That's crazy.
Man, dude, something that like
Whoa,
often
that's
like
wild.
makes me, just fucking I think about for a while and is interesting is like the fact that we probably do not have an accurate representation of how our history actually went. Like, there's probably
there's
tons of
no
gaps.
way.
We have tons of gaps we haven't been able to fill in. Like, we may even be straight up wrong about a lot of this shit. Like, it's just so much unknowns in that field. It's really fucking interesting to think about it sometimes.
And it's almost impossible to prove one way or the other. Like, it's all like theory, minus them finding these footprints. But even them finding the footprints, they have to like make up a story that goes with it. That
there's only a certain amount you can conclude. Yeah.
What's really interesting too is like when they can find like scenes and put stuff together. Like you find a piece of pottery, but it doesn't have the outside scraped, and so you conclude like, oh, like it wasn't fired or whatever, whatever weird archaeological things you can find. Yeah, it's pretty fascinating.
There's a new Indiana Jones coming out this year.
Who's the main person?
Harrison Ford. He's fucking coming back, man. Yeah.
So,
it's like coming out over the summer, dude.
I just watched something with Harrison Ford in it like, yesterday.
Huh.
And he was really good in it. So, I've been watching it's on
Shrinking?
Apple TV. Yeah, it's called Shrinking.
Yeah.
It's on
That
Apple
looks
TV.
really good.
Is that a show or a movie?
Honestly, it's really
It's a
good.
show.
It's kind of wholesome.
Dude.
It's maybe a little, like cheesy, but like it's really good.
I've
It's
been
on the
meaning
level
to
of,
get
like,
Apple TV.
Like
I've
Ted
been meaning to
Lasso
look
is
into
right
Apple.
there.
Yeah.
Shrinking is on the same level. It's good, and Harrison Ford kills it. His role.
There
is
seems
really
like
good.
Ted Lasso seems really good on Apple. There's another show with Jason Momoa that seems fucking fascinating to me.
Really?
C. It's called like C. It's on Apple, I think.
Huh.
But it's basically like
But he's not
I don't know if it's-
Aquaman.
I don't know if it's like an alternate human timeline or set in the way distant future, but basically like all of humanity is blind. And it's like the show is like, these fucking tribes of blind people fucking that's my understanding. And it sounds really interesting, yeah.
Interesting.
They spent a ton of money making this show, so I want to check it out at some point. That, Ted Lasso, and then what was the one you were just saying?
The one we were just talking about was Shrinking.
Shrinking.
And
I've heard of that.
It's got what's his name? Jason. Oh, it's the
Statham.
guy from How I Met Your Mother, the tall husband.
Barney? Back. Oh, I know who you're talking
Like
about.
Jason
Fuck,
Segel?
he's in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah, is it Jason Segel? Jason.
It
I
might.
think it is.
It is. Jason
Like
Like
Segel,
SEGAL or whatever.
You're right.
Yeah.
Jason Segel. I just looked it up. Yep.
Yeah. So it's him and Harrison Ford in this Shrinking, and like he's Jason Segel is the main character, but it's really good. It's nice.
Yeah, I need to check that out sometime.
I watched the preview for it a couple times, and I thought, like, man, this looks really good. I bet Walker would like this because you've worked at Seuss. I bet Henry would like it too.
Oh, I promised my friend that I would bring this up on the podcast. But Walker, you on your Instagram released like top movies of 2022 or 2023.
We did our
I don't
favorite
remember.
movies. You mean on just me personally, or?
One of the movies you mentioned was Barbarian.
Yeah, crazy movie.
I watched that thing off of a recommendation on a friend, and oh my god.
He's talking. I did this on my own personal social media. I was like, I usually put out like these are my top 10 movies I saw this year that came
When you
out.
put it on, I agreed immediately. I was like, that movie was crazy.
A lot of people liked Barbarian. It had Justin Long in it. It had the guy who played Pennywise in It. What's his name? Skarsgård is his last name.
Skarsgård, Skeller, or whatever.
Yeah, he's also in it. But it basically the premise is like
that's a wild film.
Yeah, this woman shows up to an Airbnb that's like already been booked by this other person, and then like it just gets
makes
fucking
you think
insane.
that the person that already booked it is the bad guy, and it like more or less.
Well, don't fuck spoilers.
I'm not
Wait,
gonna,
yeah.
It's a really unique. If you enjoy the horror genre, I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's not going to be like the most amazing writing and shit you've ever seen, but if you enjoy horror movies, very like unique and refreshing, and like I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I think it was my number 5 movie of the year or something.
I really enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
On the same genre as movies, though, I just went to go see I think 2 days ago, The Whale.
Oh, how was it?
It seems so sad. I don't want to go see it.
It was sad, but I really liked the film. Like, the cinematography and everything. Like, it was well done.
Man, A24, dude.
It's sad.
They're killing it.
Dude, they make such great movies nowadays. Like, I really appreciate that studio.
I was in the theater, and it was in a square.
So hold on, you're in Portugal. Is it in Portuguese typically when you go to a movie there?
In Poland, so it was in English but with Polish subtitles.
Okay. So
usually, the big films are like this. It's like in English, but then the subtitles are whatever
in
language.
Portuguese. So you actually will have Portuguese subtitles in a movie, typically. Oh, that's interesting.
You'll run into the occasional, like if it's a Marvel movie, where you have to pick if you want the dubbed version or the subtitle version.
Subbed, yeah.
So
they don't ever typically offer like straight up just English, no subtitles screening.
No. There's always going to be subtitles.
Interesting. I love subtitles. I would love to go to movies if they had subtitles more often. Actually,
I watch Netflix now with subtitles.
Subtitles are always on at home.
Great.
Subtitles are great.
You catch things that you would miss otherwise.
Yeah, dude. Background conversation, song titles, like fucking lyrics. Like, you hear all kinds of shit you wouldn't normally catch.
I'm definitely pro subtitles.
I'm convinced that if you don't like subtitles, it's because you can't read good.
Yeah. You ain't like subtitles. You ain't learned to read.
It's because you can't read.
You ain't.
Huey.
No, but The Whale was really good. I actually really liked it. It's like
it's Darren Aronofsky.
It's sad.
Yep.
It's gonna win awards, and deservingly so.
Brendan Fraser's up for Best Actor for that.
And I would not be shocked if he got it. It was quite good.
When are the Oscars? I kind of thought they already happened.
I kind of did too.
It's soon, but no. Has not happened.
Soon, but not yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was also wondering, because I was like, well, when the movie came out, like I've watched it just now and it's March, so like if the Oscars at the end of the year, it's got a lot of competition coming up, I guess. But if it counts as a 2022 movie, which I think it probably was released in December.
That sounds right. I feel like that's right.
Maybe it counts as 2022. I don't know.
Let's see. Do you guys have any? I hope Everything Everywhere All at Once wins Best Picture this year. That was my favorite movie of the year. I like that movie a lot.
That's a very good movie.
Excellent.
Oh, dude, it's very good.
I'm gonna watch it in the next 2 days because I've heard you and 3 other people tell me to watch it. So now
the Oscars,
really good.
I need to see it
the Oscars is is a week from this past Sunday, so it's March 12th. So maybe next week So Phil, we've been trying to do the podcast every Tuesday. We've been pretty good about it, getting on at least on Tuesday. Maybe next week we could look. Maybe throughout this upcoming week we could see some of the bigger categories, who might win for what, and maybe
I generally will.
Maybe we could do a little segment next Tuesday before the actual Oscars of who we think estimate fun. Who we think should win or whatever. Yeah.
I think I'm up for it.
Next Philip, Tuesday... you're invited anytime, dude. I know it's late for you because we're probably going to do it at 1, 2 a.m. Your time, but you're always welcome.
So, next Tuesday, I'm going to the Benfica v. Bruges Champions League game.
Football.
In Lisbon. But it's the Champions League game, so if I do make it,
I didn't know Benfica was in Lisbon.
But it's on. I think it's Tuesday. Yeah, Benfica is the Lisbon.
Is there any
team,
other big clubs in Lisbon? Is Sporting in there?
The biggest teams in Portugal are Benfica and FC Porto, which is in Porto.
There's another one, isn't there?
3 hours north, something like this.
It's
there is another
big.
one in Lisbon. It's
Sporting. Sporting is a huge
I've already
club.
picked my club, so Sporting FC. Yeah,
they're not in They're not in Lisbon.
Thank you. No, they are, but you pick one or the other. It's like UNC.
Yeah.
I know. Pick one or the other. And I moved here, and I met a couple friends. They were Benfica, so I've already decided I'm.
Dude, Phil, you're one of my friends that enjoys sports. If there's any sports stories that you would be interested in, kind of talking through, let me know, dude. I'd love to start doing a semi-frequent segment.
We can do segments on sport. If you want to do a sports segment, we'll have to narrow it down because I love all.
There's a lot. There's a lot to talk about.
General, we'll have to pick a topic and just.
There's a lot to talk about.
But I'm on board with that.
Ben would also be into a sports.
I'm sure
segment.
I could learn a lot from a sports cast. Yeah, I was going to say we should get Ben on too.
Ben and Philip are probably my two biggest.
I would love to do a podcast with Ben because, I knew Ben.
Yeah, you actually know Ben from childhood very briefly. Yeah,
it's crazy. Very briefly, I don't know very much about him, but I do know Ben.
Yeah,
I sat in class.
Dude, also, him, so. I really want to come. I'm assuming you're going to be in Portugal for a little bit, right?
I'll be here for probably
3
years.
I would love to come visit sometime. Yeah.
So,
heck yeah. I would also like to come visit.
I want to go to Vegas.
Come to Vegas,
also,
dude.
Scout, anytime you want to come, you have a place to stay. I've got a
Sweet.
You're in Lisbon for free.
Cool. So actually, I have a training in Europe in 3 weeks.
Are you serious?
Where?
March 20th.
You're going to be in Europe?
Yeah. I'm not gonna be. It's a virtual training.
I was like, how did you not tell me about that?
I was definitely considering. I was definitely considering going to Europe. If I can find tickets to Lisbon that Sunday, super cheap.
Dude, Philip's a great guy. He'll show you a good time.
We met each other today, and I'm telling you, you're invited. You can stay.
Philip will show you a good time, man. Philip's one of my oldest friends. I
believe it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
But yeah, the standing, the offer is available.
But Philip,
if anyone, pretty much anyone that I know or my friends know of that come to
or
Europe,
anyone that listens to the podcast or knows anyone who listens to the podcast.
If you want to come to Lisbon and have a beer with me, hit me up.
Philip, I hope I would try to invite you as maybe one of my groomsmen whenever I get married. I would hope that maybe we could work something out where you could at least do something.
I can fly off of that. Give me enough heads up, and I'll sort it out.
Whenever, regardless of the marriage or date or whenever, bachelor boys weekend, week thing, whatever. That's going to be planned totally separately whenever people are free. I want everyone there.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm there. And vice versa. Like when the day comes that I decide to settle
Philip
down.
and I met each other. What?
You're invited.
Third grade. We were neighbors. We lived like fucking. There was like 2 houses between ours.
This was like back in the day where you would ring the doorbell to your friend's house. Their mom would
Is
answer.
Philip home? Yeah. Or you called the house phone and whoever picked up. Is Philip home? Yeah.
Like, it was like a snow day. It's like the school's canceled and you like knock on the door like you ready to go sledding.
Cell phones
Let's
were not
go.
a thing. Not really. It was amazing. I remember this was before. Like I remember it being amazing that you had a cell phone that could even take a picture. Like this was like before that. Like this is before even just being able to take a picture with a phone was like a thing. Like yeah,
an 8-pixel picture.
I'm really glad I got to experience childhood right before that all fucking.
Without tech.
I feel insanely blessed because we're at that like perfect age where you grew up without it, but then you grew up where it was being introduced, where you learned.
Right.
So like I know technology, but I also remember growing up without it and like my parents being like, "Get out!"
Yeah, they don't know what you did.
Go
all
play
day,
outside. Just go play outside.
Go play on like construction sites and get in trouble, or like go play on like in the forest and like get up to no good. But it was fine as long as we were home before dark. It didn't really matter.
That's all that counts.
Yeah. Nowadays,
everything's different. Oh, dude, can I hit you with this? So I found some friends, Walker, you'll appreciate this, to play chess with on Sunday. So we go down to the local coffee shop and we play chess. And this past time we played like several games between the 3 of us. And they're fresh out of college, so they're like younger 20s. And we're talking about just like the state of the world, politics, the whole kit and caboodle, and they hit me with the, well, your generation. Oh, dude. It's the first time I've
fucking
ever
old,
heard it.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah, and then, dude, I thought about it. I am a different generation. I am the older generation. It was wild.
I gotta say this. I cannot stand like online the way that, like everybody like generalizes an entire segment of like into a generation. I think that's fucking
very
maddening.
stupid.
Like
so stupid.
Like boomers, millennials, Gen X. It's like Gen X did this is Gen
So
X's
dumb.
fault. Well, the boomers did this. It's like, dude, like yes, a lot of them maybe did, but it's not all of them, and you're you're grouping everyone into one fucking category. It drives me crazy.
that whole like phase where it was like, okay, boomer, if you said anything,
I thought that was hilarious.
remotely,
Though, I gotta say,
it was kind of funny, but also it was like they would say it to.
it was basically
anybody.
like I'm not engaging in the conversation response. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, okay. It's like the Karen situation. Granted, most of those are deserved, but I would hate it if I was Karen.
Yeah, I have an aunt named Karen. It must suck.
Your prototypical Karen. That sucks. Thank God my name isn't like Chad or something like.
You look like a Chad.
We could start Philip being a thing.
No, let's not.
Nah, you're being a total Philip, dude. You're being a Philip about it. You're being a Phil. You're really filling it out, dude.
Yeah. No, but I do feel bad for the Karens out there that aren't Karens.
The Karens of the world.
That would be interesting to look at sometime, like the graph of people being named Karen as to when that became like a thing in pop culture.
Dude.
I would imagine it took
That's
a very
definitely
steep
a thing.
decline there of like people being named Karen once like that became a thing online.
Oh yeah, I'm
There
finding
has to
that
be.
for
There
sure.
has to be a graph.
Because they always post like top 10 boy
Popularity,
names of the year and girl names of this year or whatever. Like
There's definitely
Karen
this
must
shit
have
is
taken a
definitely
fucking
trapped.
big old hit.
Nosedive. Peaked in 1965 when it was the 3rd most popular name. In 2020, it's 831st, falling
Wow.
171 spots from
That's a lot.
2019.
Is this just like
Crazy.
America? Do you know? Yeah.
Yes.
That's a pretty large data
Yeah.
set, though.
Yeah.
Still, but
They have a graph. It's like really started
Wow.
plummeting. Yeah, in like 2017, and yeah, by 2020, dude, the step down from 2019 to 2020 is
hilarious.
brutal. I'm curious. Yeah, I wish I had data for 2021 and 2022.
Well, I'm sure it's just like continued to stay. Like, I can't.
Yeah, it's
imagine-
probably. I can't imagine that. Yeah.
But it's not even-
this seems like a good topic maybe to tackle on the next podcast. We've been going for like over an hour, so it's been good. Philip, I hope you can come on more often.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I mean, like honestly, I'm
Yeah.
definitely game to do
Like I said,
this
we're
more often.
Tuesday
Sweet.
is when we're doing it, so
I feel like
any Tuesday you feel like joining.
And we'll start a sports segment and shit, dude. Get you guys doing a sports segment.
our conversations naturally just kind of like go. Like, I don't even know that we had topics lined up for this, but we knocked out an hour and a half,
Yeah.
whatever.
Philip doesn't know that we've been prompting him the entire time.
You guys are good at this. What can I say?
Oh,
Our production value is so high. We're so good.
well, yeah, we'll see. Thanks for listening. If you're still here at this point,
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for joining us, Philip.